Lakshmi. Welcome to my channel. So today we are in my kitchen and I'm making this very special dessert. It's really simple but it's so decadent. It's the chocolate caramel Oreo pie. Sounds delicious, right? I'm gonna have 3 layers in this pie. One being the crust, which is made with the crushed Oreo cookies, and the second layer is going to be caramel. The third layer would be chocolate ganache. Now this is a great dessert that you can make in advance. If you have a lot of guests coming over and you are falling short of time, so this is something that you can make the night before and store it, and it's gonna taste really awesome even the second day or even days after that. So that's a good idea, and it is so decadent. Your guests will keep complimenting you about your party, I bet. So let's get started. So the list of ingredients is really nothing, just 5 ingredients, simple. So the first ingredient, which is going to form the base, is a pack of Oreo cookies. To make the chocolate ganache, we are going to need 2 cups of dark chocolate chips. Any brand is good. We need 2/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar. This is for the caramel sauce. We need 1 cup of butter, so this is 2 sticks, half cup each. We need a little bit of coarse kosher salt or any coarse salt. We need it to top it on our pie. And lastly, we need some heavy whipping cream, and we need 1 cup and 1/4 of a cup. Some part of it we will use for the chocolate ganache, and some part of it we will use in the caramel sauce. So we are going to start with crushing the Oreo cookies. Now there are 2 ways that you can do this. You can either blend it in, you can run it through in your food processor, or you can take a ziplock bag like this, put the Oreo cookies in it and start crushing it with the mortar pestle. Alright. So here I'm just putting it in my blender. I find that easier. So once we are done with crushing all the Oreos, this is how it's gonna look like. It's gonna be pretty powdery, just like coffee maybe. Next thing that we're gonna do now is melt the butter to mix it with this Oreo mixture. So we had taken 2 sticks. We're gonna spare this stick for a caramel sauce and take this one and start melting it in the microwave. So you just need to microwave it for about 30 seconds. Do not microwave it too much, otherwise it is going to separate. And so once you have it melted, we will use just a little bit of it to grease our pie pan. And we're just going to pour everything, the rest of it, into this Oreo mixture. So once you pour it in, just mix it really well. Alright, so it looks like it's mixed really well. So now I take the pan and I'm just going to make sure that it is nicely buttered up, because we are going to press the Oreo mixture right into it at the bottom. This is going to be our crust. So the mixture is now ready to be poured into the pan. So this is our crust. So I'm just going to pour it into the pie pan. So depending on how thick you want your crust to be, you can either add whole of the mixture, or you can just add maybe half of it, make a thin crust if you like it. I like the crust to be really thick, so I'm gonna add almost all of it. And so we're going to press it really well to make sure that everything sticks together, so that when we pop it in the freezer, it sets and it becomes like a whole crust. You can also use your hands if you're more comfortable with it. It works better that way. Alright, so the mixture is all pressed in. Now it's ready to be popped into the freezer. So we will pop it right in, and only until the time that we are ready with our caramel sauce. So now we are ready to make our caramel sauce. So what we need for that is a stick of butter. Now this is half cup. We also need brown sugar, 2/3 of a cup. So in a saucepan, just add the stick of butter and the brown sugar. And just let it melt all together. Don't keep the heat too high, just keep it medium. So the idea is to let all of this melt together and mix it well, and then when it starts boiling, after it starts boiling, we just need to cook it for 1 minute. I have used dark brown sugar. You can use light brown sugar, but that's not going to give a very nice color to it. So you want to make sure that you're whisking it all the time. You have to mix it all the time to make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom. Alright, so as you can see, it's started to boil. Now I'm just gonna make sure I cook it for exactly a minute after that. And keep mixing continuously. One minute is up. Turn off the stove and start adding little bit of whipping cream at a time. We're going to add a total of 1/4 of a cup. Little by little. So there it is, our caramel sauce. So we want to let it sit at least for 15 minutes before we lay it on top of the base of our pie. Alright, so the caramel sauce has been cooling for about 15 minutes. So I took the crust out of the freezer and we're going to form the second layer. So all we do is just pour this sauce on this crust of ours. Now just try to level it as evenly as possible. You can leave the corners because that's just gonna be the corner of our pie. So you can just layer it at the center. So now we're ready with the second layer, and I'm gonna pop it again into the freezer and this time we will keep it for around 45 minutes. We don't want it to freeze. Okay, we just want the caramel to set really nice, and meanwhile we are going to make our chocolate ganache. So while we have our crust and caramel sauce chilling and setting in the freezer, so I'm gonna get a double boiler started. So what it is we have a pot with water in it, and we have placed a glass bowl that sits right on the top covering it. And then we also have some heavy whipping cream, and we are just gonna let it simmer. And so what I'm gonna do with the double boiler is add our chocolate chips. So the idea is to just melt all our chocolate chips till they're soft and nice. So our chocolate chips are nicely melting away. So once the chocolate chips are melted away, we are gonna mix in the whipping cream that is simmering. So whipping cream is simmering away. Our chocolate is almost melted. So all the chocolate is nicely melted. So now we just switch off both the stoves and we slowly mix in the whipping cream with with the chocolate. Alright, so we have mixed in the whipping cream and it should be as smooth as this, looking great. So now that we have mixed it well, we just let it sit for 5 minutes, let it cool down a bit, and then we are gonna take our base and caramel out of the freezer and top it up with our chocolate. Alright, so our pie was resting for about 30 to 40 minutes in the freezer. It has set really well. So what we're gonna do now is just pour the chocolate ganache on the top, and our final layer will be ready, and we will pop it again in the freezer for around 30 to 40 minutes, and then it will finally be ready.
Wow, I just love this flow. The ribbon-like flow, I just love it.
So once you pour the chocolate ganache on the top, make sure you level everything as plain as possible with a spatula like this. And that's it. So now that we have the chocolate layer on it, we are ready to pop it into the freezer again, and we will keep it in there for about 30 minutes again and let it set, and then it will be ready for us to dig in. Alright, I took the pie out of the freezer. It's all set and ready to go. So one final touch to it is I will just sprinkle a little kosher salt, coarse kosher salt on it, and so that's gonna make it really nice, sweet and salty. But remember that the butter that we used was already salted, so do not put a lot of it. So this is also going to make it look really pretty. And that's it, that's good. So let's cut it. So you can see the wonderful layers, the Oreo, the caramel, the chocolate. I just can't wait to dig in.
So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave me your comments and feedback down below. And until we meet next time, be larger than life. Thank you.